Hi, welcome. Our training today is to install nagios. To install nagios on Red Hat server. The training will have little bit of diversity because there is a different step. The first step is that we have to make sure that Apache is running. I will bring you to this diagram first. What we have here, this is the server where we are going to install our nagios for our network management service. So here is the repository. What I mean by repository is where we are going to take all packet that we need. Okay, so we will point this server to this repository so that we can download any packet that we like. We have in the middle, we have a Cisco 3750 switch that we will configure SNMP on it so that it can send all the traffic to the server. So it's also for all the rest of our lab. So our nagios will monitor all these devices. So there's two stages. The first stage will be to configure nagios to make sure nagios is running, and the second stage is to configure those devices that will be managed by our nagios. Okay, like I say, opening this file, we know it's installing nagios. First step, we need to make sure that Apache is running. Okay, and then we install PHP. We'll install some package called GCC compiler. It also needed. We'll install GD and all other dependency. Okay, let me access to our SSH session. Here the server called nagios server is where we will install our nagios, and here is our repository, our repo server. On the nagios, I just want to confirm the IP address. If config, this is the IP address of our nagios server. If we test it now, we will see that we don't have access to the server, to the nagios. Then for me to test it, let me open the browser, type that IP address here. Sorry, 192.168.1.15. Nothing's working. So our goal at the end is to make sure that when we type this URL, our nagios is running. That is our goal. For the moment, it's not working. So let's start. What I will do, I will start with HTTP configuration. If I go back to the file again, I was saying to you that Apache should be run okay, in perfect condition. For that, I want to service HTTPD statute. It's not recognized. It means the packet definitely is not installed. -query HTTPD. No, okay. So I will use yum to install my HTTPD. Yum install HTTPD with all this package. Okay. So next we will install PHP. Yum install then GCC compiler. Next will be GCC compiler here, and then install GD package. Okay, dependency. Okay, no need to install. We can see that the package is already installed. Now dd. Okay, for now we are good. If I do service httpd start, perfect, our Apache is okay and it's running. If I do like this now, fine, you can see that our server is running. So the next stage now we will install nagios. So to install nagios, what we know our repository, our server is point to a repository. If I do let me show you something. Cat etc dot repo. I know my repo is apache.repo. So we are pointed to this repo, but the problem is that in this package I don't have nagios, so I have to point to the URL. Okay, and the link, I have the link here, so I will download my nagios from here, and also the plugin. So we finish with this one. The second stage is download nagios and its plugin. Okay, with this like stage 1, I'll name this stage 2. Okay, so we are going to use this link first. Go back to my console. I'll use wget. That's the command we need. http and then put the URL, pass the URL. Okay, now we are downloading our nagios. It's fine, we got it now. Let's download the plugin as well. The URL for the plugin is, check this one. Copy here. Okay, we are downloading the plugin now. So now that we have this, what I will do next, I will create a nagios user, and I will create a nagios user and group. Okay, next stage, I can say create nagios user and group. Command is user add nagios. Okay, this user already exists. Okay, password, nagios. Okay, the password now. I'll call the password simple nagios. Okay, confirm the password. Okay, now I'll create a group. Group add. I'll call the group Dandy Lab 1. I'll make my nagios user as a second group of Dandy. I'll make my nagios part of Dandy Lab, but as a second group. So what I'm doing now, Dandy Lab 2, Dandy Lab 1. Dandy Lab 1, what did I make wrong? It doesn't exist. Group art, Dandy Lab 1. Okay, let me see. Okay. User mode. Oh, sorry. The user nagios. I'm making some mistake. Okay. Now, create Dandy Lab, and then also belong to Apache. The user belong to Apache himself as well. Okay. Now next that we create, now I will then unpack and compile the nagios. You remember the nagios that you installed. So the next stage is to unpack it for unpacked and compile nagios unplugging. Okay. For that I will use star. I have to make sure that the packet is there where I will use star to extract the packet. So let me see if I have the packet in this directory. Okay, I have them both. I have nagios here, and I also have the nagios plugin. So I'm in the right directory. So what I will do, tab minus zxef to extract my packet nagios /3. Okay, it's quick. So far it's good. So cd, I'll go to the directory, packet nagios. Okay, now we all know that to compile the file we need to use the // and configure. So I will associate that with my nagios user and my nagios group, if you remember, because the group I create, the group was Dandy Lab, and the user was nagios. Okay, so what I will do now, I will add, continue with my compile. It's configure. That's the exact command with, I'm associating to the user with nagios. User equal nagios with group, nagios group group equal Dandy Lab. Okay, this will take a little bit of time, but while we are doing that, what I will do, I will see if I can. Okay, it's fine. It's also quick. Okay, I just want to show you, you have a file, because when you extract the file, it's good for you to go and open the readme file. I'll show you something here. You see the readme file is someplace here. So if you do cat readme, you see this will explain you how you can install your nagios. It can show you all the detail, what you need to do, what is the nagios, what is allowed you to do. So it's important to go to a readme file to see what is there. Sometimes it give you a lot of more information how to install so that you don't make any mistake. Okay, now we continue with our installation. So now it's make clean. Now make on. Okay, this will also take a little bit of time. I don't know, maybe we will pause our video to go and do it, but in the meantime I will try to log to my root, to this Cisco router, to check our configuration. SSH thing is let me telnet 10.10.10.2. Okay, configure terminal. I want to check the version, show version, which version I have. Let me check if SNMP is configured. Show running config, include SNMP. Yes, our SNMP is configured already. Okay, go back there, check the compile is finished. Okay, now it's finished. So next, what we need to do again, continue. The previous commands was make all, now make install. Starting. You have to be patient because it takes time. So we are doing it step by step. Okay. I can start init. Okay. You can start config. We need all these commands to make sure that everything's properly. That's the way to compile. It's a standard way to compile a file when you use that. Just to remind you, using yum will make everything easy for you, but unfortunately we don't have this in the repository, so I was not able to use yum, because if I use yum it will take all the dependency and then do it for me. It will be straightforward. I have to go step by step and make sure that I don't do any mistake to avoid going to the troubleshooting stage again. Okay, you can see here so far is good, and now the last one is the web config. Make install web config. No such rule. I think I typed a mistake. Okay, it's fine. So the next now is to go and check, install our plugin. Finish with nagios now ls. We can see the plugins here. So for the plugin we will do the same. It's the same step. So start, minus zx vf, and then we type the packet name is nagios plugin. Tap it. Nagios plugin cannot read. Is this directory? What's going on here? Okay. .gz. Okay. I'll check config. Install it, and then we have cd nagios share plugin. again the same, we do like we did in nagios user equal nagios, and with group nagios group equal lab, isn't it? This is what we had before. Okay. It's downloading again now. It's compiling everything. So what we need to do next, we will do the same stage. We have to go to the process of make install to make sure everything is running properly. So for this time now, I will log to my HP router while it's doing that to check if we also have SNMP configured in my HP router. SSH, I will turn it to H. My HP router when I sudo .1cca.1.15.254. It's not able to telnet. Why? Okay, telnet is not configured on that device. Let me see if it's back now. Okay, now we finish here. Make it's taking time. It's not something very complicated. It's just that you have to follow the process. You have to know how to install Apache, how to configure Apache. You make sure your Apache is running properly, and as long as you test your Apache is running properly, the installation of nagios is just you have to follow the documentation on nagios web. Everything is clean, is well explained. So with Red Hat, it seems a little bit complicated, but it's not so difficult. For me, I find it straightforward. Okay, and now from here, we'll do make all. Leaving it to nagios, nothing to be done for all, so everything is fine so far. So now we have to make sure that our nagios will always start on boot. You know, with Red Hat, don't forget, even Apache, when we configure our Apache, what we did, we start the Apache, but we didn't make it persistent after the reboot. We need to do it. We do it by check config http d on. So it means it will even my server reboot, my httpd will be running properly. It is same with Apache, with nagios. So we do check config nagios on. So we are good. Now we have to test our nagios. Now that we compile, we start our nagios. We make it we make it to boot, to start, to always, we make it to always start. After boot, this is number 5, and then number 6, we test our nagios config. Okay, now let's go ahead and test our nagios. Service nagios start. Let's start it first. Starting nagios done. It means it's good. So let's test it. User local nagios bin v, we have to compare it to user local nagios see nagios config. If you don't see any error, perfect. We can see here total warning 0, total error 0. It means our nagios is fine. We don't have any problem. We then now have to create nagios admin user and a password. That's important. Okay, I have to type it down. Create nagios admin and user. Okay. Okay, now let's go and create one HT password. HT, sorry. Password minus C. We go to our directory. We know it's a user. Sorry, user. User local nagios etc HT password. HT password dot user. So we call the user nagios admin. Nagios admin. I'll call it nagios admin. Okay, and then we type the password. The password. Let me add the password. Okay. Now, while we finish the configuration, we have to restart Apache and restart our nagios, and also don't forget, because locally we will connect, we have to remember that on our server we probably have and firewalls running. So this IP table. So an SNMP we know use port 161 and 162 with UDP. So we need to configure our IP table to allow any request, any SNMP request or any SNMP traffic. Okay, so the command is, let me write it down now. 8. We will restart Apache. 9. We will configure the server to allow SNMP traffic, and this will be done. This will be done by opening UDP port 161 and 162. Okay, so service httpd start our server. Okay, now to configure to allow SNMP traffic on port 61, the command is IP table minus I for input, so minus P protocol UDP destination port 161 G jump to accept. Same thing with 162. We are done, and now we can check our nagios. So we will check our nagios, and when we finish to check our nagios, then we can manage the config file to see our router. Let me go again. This Apache is fine. We add nagios now. Here we go. Nagios user, remember, is what was it was nagios admin. The user we create is nagios admin. password Usman. So here we go, bam, perfectly. So now we have nagios already configured. What we need now, we this will be on our next video, that I will explain you how to test nagios file, how to check the file. If you want, I can show you some quickly. So those are the files that we need to configure. User, sorry, local nagios nagios config. So you see all these is our configuration file that we need to manage. So on this configuration file we have to uncheck what we want. For example, here, if you go here, you can see the different objects that you have. I mean, that include the command, the template, and then the contact, where, for example, you can add all the contact of administrator, adding his email address, everything. So let me see again. I will show you another config, another file that we need to make sure that we are familiar with, but this will be on the next training. So teacher, local, sorry, user, local nagios bin. Oh, sorry. Let me go out again. Okay, it's not just config and then object, and then we have a different object. For example, for switch, we will see object switch, and then here you can configure your switch. Here, for example, in our switch, the switch that we have is a Cisco 3750. No, we have to remember the IP address of our switch, we know is 10.10.10.2. So in that case, we'll put here the IP address of our switch, so that our switch can be monitored, and then here we can change the name if you want. Don't forget, we have to go down to match all the name, otherwise your nagios will pop up an error. When you put the alias name, you have to change it for sure. From this here, the service, if you use the host name, you change it there, you have to change it down here as well. Okay, so far the training, I will conclude this training and say to you thank you very much, and I'll hope to see you soon. But before going out, I can show you, we already have some we can view some of our stuff here. We see this is the local host, it's normal. When we add the other device, we will see all the other service that we can see. So I will show you how to configure all the device in the next video. Thank you for attending the training.